How's it going, guys? It's me, Vivi, and welcome to another Ratchet Clank video. Now, before I get into the actual video, Crystal Fisher, you've probably heard of him. He goes over Spyro content, Crash Bandicoot, all that kind of stuff. Him along user JP8K got the opportunity to interview David Bergeaud. Most of us know him as the composer of Ratchet Clank games, more specifically, 8 Ratchet Clank games. Pretty much all games up until Quest for Booty. He also, of course, has done music for other projects as well. He has his own website where you can find out all about his current work. Now, for those of you wondering about how he got introduced to Ratchet Clank, to Insomniac Games, what inspired him, technical aspect of things when it comes to music production, or if he would ever come back to the series, he goes over all those questions. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna leave the link in the description below. So if you want to check it out, go ahead. I've always wanted to hear David Bergeaud in an interview. It was pretty awesome listening to it. So with that out of the way, let's focus on the actual video. Let's discuss challenge mode, alright? Challenge mode has appeared like always throughout the series, starting from the very first game. Even non-IG Ratchet & Clank games had challenge mode. This mode is like one of the pillars at this point. Without it, it wouldn't feel like Ratchet & Clank. It's like removing the weapon upgrades. Saying this actually sounds funny, because what I'm about to dive into does involve disabling weapon upgrades. I mean, think about this. What if it were an option? It's not mandatory, unless we're talking about trophies, you know, to platinum the game. If you put it that way, okay, it's mandatory, I guess. But think of this, why am I bringing up challenge mode? Challenge mode was Insomniac's way of bringing a layer of challenge to Ratchet & Clank. If that's not enough, Insomniac Games introduced difficulty settings starting from Quest for Booty. Now, many people still didn't find Ratchet & Clank that hard even on hard mode and challenge mode, but I believe IG can make it even harder by simply implementing an option which I'm about to discuss very soon. Now let me just get challenge mode out of the way. Each game after Ratchet & Clank 1 introduced Bolt Multiplier, which would increase the number of bolts gained by killing a bunch of enemies without getting hit once. If you were hit, it would go back to 1. Ratchet & Clank 1 didn't have the Bolt Multiplier. What happened is, in challenge mode, it wasn't really called challenge mode. You would gain bolts faster, simple, and some felt like that mode felt easier. Also, you would gain gold weapons in Ratchet & Clank 1. Now, generally speaking, in challenge mode, you would have the ability to rebuy your upgraded weapons. Each game lets you keep some of your gadgets. Your overall stats, such as health and weapon upgrades, they were all kept. Going commando, up your arsenal, and Kraken time, and the reimagining on PS4 all had the Insomniac Games Museum. There were multiple ways of unlocking the museum, especially the old trilogy. Either you complete the game, 100%. Well, technically by completing the game you unlock it, but you can access it if you don't complete the game 100%. You could have used the internal clock method. I'm referring to going commando and up your arsenal. Now, of course, some would cheat and set their system to 3 AM. Some would even glitch their way through. If not challenge mode, we had the option to time warp right before the final boss. I still remember the day I first tried challenge mode. I was like, whoa, you can rebuy weapons and re-upgrade them? What? What if they were to bring back that feeling? Well, I don't know about you guys, I don't know how you felt the first time you tried challenge mode, but hear me out. They can bring another layer of difficulty by simply introducing a brand new mode to the table. Challenge mode, it should be kept. It's part of Ratchet & Clank. If they were to introduce us with a new mode, why not call it old school mode? Someone mentioned this in the comments a while back. I couldn't find the comment, but I actually found it very interesting and thought of discussing it. This old school mode reminds me of cut content from Sly 4. I don't know if you guys are Sly Cooper fans, but the 4th game was supposed to have an old school mode, let's call it that, where the health bar would turn into the health system of the first game. Pretty much hit points. The first game was hit points, just like Ratchet & Clank 1. And talking about hit points, the first game, Ratchet & Clank on the PS2, had a max of 8. Weapons were not upgradable. If they were to scrap challenge mode for this mode with unupgradable weapons, then I understand that fans would get angry. Just for a little change, why not play old school? Your health goes back to hit points. Nanotech could be sold just like the old game. Maybe find a dispenser somewhere, vending machine, whatever you want to call it. No weapon upgrades. Like I said, leave challenge mode. Weapon upgrades will be left for that mode, as usual. By bringing back the old nanotech system and the weapon system, why not at the same time bring back Ratchet's old school look? If that were the case, how would the armor system work? Simple, they remove it. Insomniac Games will have to make it so the game, well, this mode, old school, won't require us to upgrade our armor. There wouldn't be any armor, right? Plus, people have been playing Ratchet & Clank without the armor, as a way of adding challenge. As for upgrading health, just like Ratchet & Clank 1, we could find some sort of vending machine, a dispenser which would give us a can and Ratchet would drink it. As a reference, it'd be great. In the first game, we had Premium Nanotech and Ultra Nanotech, which increased health by 3. Now, I don't know if they'd go as far as even changing the bolts system. The bolts in Ratchet & Clank 1, they were all like worth 1, but then, starting from Ratchet & Clank 2, everything just multiplied. So I'm thinking this mode should be unlocked once you beat the game. By selecting old school mode, nothing will carry over. I mean, if the weapons aren't upgradable, it wouldn't make any sense to carry over your upgraded weapons. You simply restart the game, just like the classic. You simply unlock this mode, right? Think of how you unlock challenge mode itself. You have to finish the game. You also unlock hardcore mode in a crack in time. Looking at Ratchet & Clank 1, that game was designed with hit point system, the way enemies fired and all. Imagine in this new Ratchet & Clank game, hit points as health, but the enemies firing the same way. You'll have to be extra careful. Now, would old school mode grant us a trophy? If yes, then in a way, you can say it's mandatory if you want to platinum the game. But, I know what you're gonna say. Okay, so we have to play the game 3 times to platinum the game. 1 for completing the game once, 2 challenge mode, and 3 old school mode. Would you as a fan replay the game 3 times? I would. How about you guys? But now I'm thinking, what I'm asking right now is a lot. A mode like this will need a longer development. It's like a different take on the series, or call it tweaking the formula a bit. You're pretty much redesigning the gameplay. Now, I'm not an expert, alright? But yeah, I don't know if a mode such as this would be part of their budget. You want to bring something innovative to the series, want to make the game harder, then remove strafe. I'm kidding, no. Never remove strafe, okay? Seriously, adding strafe was like a miracle, which descended upon us. Now, I'm expecting a lot of mixed feelings in the comments. Would you play in a mode such as old school? Same skin, well, classic skin, classic health system, classic nanotech box, non-upgradable weapons, bolt system just like the classic. What would you say about that? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So as usual, I've been VV and thank you so much for watching.